Alright, I'm back, I'm live, ready to start journaling. And one thing I'm thinking is I really don't need to split my right hand screen. I'll show you real quick. I really don't need to split my right hand screen into two screens. I can just have this be one screen, and then just move back and forth between higher time frame chart. Because I think it would be more beneficial to just have one big screen where I have everything else on the screen. Because that's the whole point of the screen, is everything else that I don't want to clutter my main screen, I'm going to have on this screen. And then I can glance over at it. Okay, there's the new week opening gaps right there. Okay, I'm going to put it on the chart. And then the chart on my main screen stays clean the entire time. And then this screen can have everything else. I kind of like that idea. So let's do it. So the only thing is, oh man, how can I get this? It's just kind of annoying because, like, every time I draw on this chart, it shows up on the other chart. Like, it's showing up when I draw a line here. Let's see. If I draw a line from here to here on the screen, then it shows up on the screen. And I don't know why it does that. I don't have global turned on. Oh, man, I don't know. That's gonna be an issue if I want to have this be split into two. I can't be drawing stuff here and then have it affecting the other screen. So maybe I'll just do this. I'll just drag this over like this. It's an okay solution for now, but in the future, I just want to have this be one screen where I have everything. Okay. Yeah, in the future, I'll try and figure out how to make this one screen. Let me bring you back to my main screen. So here's the main screen, and yeah. I think that's smart though, to have all the stuff I don't want to clutter my main screen on this screen. So I'll set that up next time, but since we are journaling today, strictly journaling, let's go ahead and strictly journal here. Yeah. So okay. Let's just start off by looking at the trades that I took today. So from the first trade of the day was let's go to the video. So we have this 4-hour order block. I'll show you It's so weird. This is a down close candle and then another down close candle. I So the first trade I took, but I guess we'll start off by just talking about what happened. So going into the market, what did I think initially? Well, let's go look at it. Okay. So, where's the journal? Oh man, so yeah, I was mainly bullish until previous week's high. Here, let's get rid of this image. I don't want it. end up hitting previous week's high at 6:40 Eastern. So that's like literally before I even got on the charts. Okay, so once we hit these major draws on liquidity, the market goes into quite the consolidation here. me get chat on my phone. Whoops. Have you guys not been able to see my screen this whole time? Alright. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Okay, so now chat's on my phone. I can get rid of this. So, London was sponsored by this key level, this 4-hour order block. Made us possibly think that it would be a New York continuation day, and it did end up becoming that. Now, okay, let's talk about the first trade I took. So let's get out the sheets here. Okay, January 6th, 2024. So this one was the first trade I took. What was it? Copy trade or regular? Hey, FA. Alright, so far all I've talked about in journaling so far is one, but right before London we pushed into this 4-hour order block. And so as I said in daily profiling, to me that seemed like that could possibly be the key level that London pushed into, but then again it happened before London started. So that led me to think that today could be a London reversal New York continuation day, and it ended up being that. New York did continue to the upside. And another reason that I thought this was because although we had this daily BPR here, I mean, I've seen it happen so many times where you have to go dig deep into the BPR before you get a reaction. And so you can see we end up digging deep into the BPR and we don't get a reaction until essentially this order block here. So that's kind of why I thought we were going to keep digging into it. So anyway, we used this 4-hour order block before London started, so I thought this could be New York reversal, London reversal, New York continuation. Right when we hit these, so the previous week's high, that was my short-term target, the market totally stalled, and then so it was really frustrating because I'm like, well, that was like literally my whole target for the day was going to be previous week's high. So it made it really, really hard to trade right when I got on the charts. And so we were in this consolidation. And so when we come up here and we inverse this 3-minute, I'm about to record this trade down actually. Trade 55. So the first trade I took, now the first issue was that we had already hit our major target, which was previous week's high, which means there wasn't a really good higher time frame model to frame a lower time frame trade. Let's go into the first trade that I took. Trade 55. And so this was, I think this was the copy trade, and this was a loss, and this was, I think I was just shooting for like, Actually, I don't know. I think it was like 2 to 1. I actually don't remember. Might have accidentally broke my rules and shot for like 2.5 to 1. So that's not good. I'll have to. I'll just put copy trade L for now. So I noted that. So as you see, I'm breaking my rules and I don't even realize it, and that's a big issue, right? I'm breaking my rules, I don't even realize it. So we inverse this 3-minute. Now we had good liquidity, so I think it was fair to target the end of that LRLR. I think once again it just depends on the context, because I knew if we're gonna go run this liquidity, we're gonna go to the bottom, and that's exactly what happens. We go to the bottom of it. So I don't know, something I'll have to think about. Like in this case, it might have been fair to shoot for higher R because, well, you should anticipate that all of the LRLR to get ran. So we inverse this 3-minute. We sweep out this high. Let's see here. So oh, I took a trade before this. This is trade 56. I'll write it down later. Trade 56, copy trade L. So after we had hit previous week's high and the daily distribution level on stat map, we came up and swept out that high again, and then inversed this 3-minute gap. We had really good LRLR below, and I wanted to see that get taken out, but it's really important to remember that if the trade isn't framed well in a higher time frame model towards a higher time frame drawn liquidity, it's automatically going to be lower probability. That was definitely the case. That was the case here because our higher time frame target was already hit as well. If we were expecting New York reversal, London reversal, New York continuation, there was no reason to take shorts because we would be expecting New York to continue to the upside. That's a lot. But okay, here was the trade. So I'm wondering what rules maybe I can make out of this, but so we come up, sweep this high, barely. To be honest, in hindsight, that's kind of like more like relatively equal highs than it is a good sweep, but I guess it's still a sweep. It still counts. Then, so I guess you have these down close candles as your breaker. So I marked that out as the breaker, and then this was the fair value gap, and I really wanted to see this LRLR get hit. And so I entered short here. Stop loss like here, targeting here. So I guess I was shooting for 3 to 1. So I guess I was kind of breaking my rules there with that. I gotta be more careful and not break my rule. But I don't know. Given the context of the LRLR, I mean, I think it's fair to take it down to the end of the LRLR. So I don't know. It just kind of depends on the context. I don't know. I'll figure out the rules later. But yeah, this was the trade. We had really good LRLR here. So we inverse this. Yeah, technically it's 3-1. I have to admit, that would have been really nice if that did hit, but it did not. So main issues and lessons learned here. 1. Against daily profile, London reversal, New York continuation. Be careful not to trade against daily profile next time. 2. One thing I noted about this trade that I'm not going to make this mistake again is, like, when we get this trade, we have to realize the context of, like, where all the liquidity is. There's LRLR down here, but you also have, like, decent LRLR above here, right? And so you have to, like, be aware of everything. Like, are there people above you that could get stopped out as well? In this case, there was. And so even though we had this breaker, we still had LRLR above. So it was like, was it the absolute best trade in the world? Not necessarily because of this. I mean, genuinely, like, there are people up here that are needing to get stopped out, and you can see that we go on end up stopping those people out. So, issue number 2, it was lower probability because we had liquidity above. It was lower probability because we had liquidity above, as seen here. What else? When was the macro? Yeah, this was going into the macro, so that was one reason I liked this trade. I like that we were going into the macro, but I think I and so three, but lastly and most importantly, three, there was no higher time frame draw on liquidity and higher time frame model framed for the lower time frame trade. This is incredibly important if you want to take the highest probability trades possible. Next time I'm going to be super careful and thoughtful to make sure I've framed out a higher time frame narrative before entering a lower time frame trade. Okay. Now I skipped trade 55, which was also a loss. Same issue, and arguably like this one was a lot worse, but this was on a singular account. Okay, so we had LRLR below. That's the straight up. That's the only that's the main reason this trade sucked. Yeah, we were bullish on the day, but once again, the main reason this trade sucked was just LRLR below. So I should not have taken this, but we had a 5-minute breaker and a 5-minute value gap overlapping with each other, right? So I saw this. I knew we were bullish on the day. And then I saw this for value gap. And I was like, okay, nice. So, screenshot. Took this on a singular account. Like, for instance, Now, even this kind of a trade would have lost. And you know why? Just because there's LRLR below, right? But this would have been a little better because... Now, I don't even think we get a close above. We don't even get a CISD. So it just doesn't make sense to take this on the lower time frame. But yeah. I mean, we get a CISD here, but like... Once again, that's not... So yeah, like I said, like we have this breaker for value gap, and we get a CISD out of it, but it's like we don't get this CISD, which is a big red flag, right? And we have LRLR below. The main reason this sucks is it has there's clear LRLR below. You should not be longing this with clear LRLR below. So we'll just mark this out like this. So yeah. So like, what I mean by that is like this. I want to see this close above, and we don't really get that. Okay, back to what we were looking at before. Whoops. So let me show you my other screen. We're gonna actually mark these trades out in my journal. As seen here. So January, I gotta mark out the last 3 days. Okay, January 6th, 2024, trade 55 was a singular account. It was an L. It was like a 2.5 to 1 or something. And yeah, it was an L. Trade 56, that was the copy trade. That one was the L. That one was a 3 to 1. And so I kind of broke my rules there. So I'm going to try and figure out how do I... Like, if there's really good LRLR, do I allow myself to do a 3 to 1 copy trade? That's something I'm going to need to figure out. Because if it's good LRLR, it should all get ran. But then again, I should really just be shooting for 1 to 1s when copy trading. I think it was unacceptable. If I'm being honest, like, you gotta take a trade like that, but then just shoot for 1 to 1 and get out. Like, I don't know. I think you can do those types of trades on singular accounts. That, like, if in the future I'm gonna need to take that on a singular account because I can't be doing more than like a 2-to-1 on a copy trade in the future. Let's write that down. So yeah, that was a good lesson learned there. Just like why mess with? You're risking all of your literally all of your accounts. You can do 3-to-1s on a singular account, but if you're risking all your accounts at once, don't do a 3-to-1. Just don't do a 3-to-1. Just a 1-to-1, a 1.5-to-1, maybe a 2-to-1 if it's good liquidity. But yeah. 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 Sometimes I don't even realize I break my rules. Like I was just thinking, oh, it's good liquidity, so obviously I take profit at the end of the LLM. No. Either make your stop loss bigger or take profit earlier. Because there's or take it on a singular account because there was no reason for me to have risked 3-to-1 on a copy trade. Like keep that to singular accounts. Don't do that kind of risk on all of the accounts at once. Just 1-to-1s, 1.5-to-1s, 2-to-1s max. I think that was a very valuable lesson to have learned there, and so I'm glad I learned that. Now, back to what we were looking at. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, and then I don't even know what these were. They're probably like 2-to-1s. And then what was the win here? Oh, this is a 4-to-1. That's going to help my stats, dude. It's going to help my stats a lot. Let's go. My rating went back up. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, very valuable lesson learned there. Okay, what trade did I take next? See, this is why I have to actually record everything down. This is why I need to record everything down. Man, this was a nice BPR, huh? I'm just now realizing this. And oh my gosh, and it was going into 850 too. Look at that. That was a nice BPR. The thing about this is, though, I would definitely move stop loss to break even at the external gap, and then I would get stopped out at break even. So this doesn't really work. As much as I want it to work, I don't think it works. Nah. Like, I want to be like, yeah, this was a good trade, but I don't know. I personally just don't think I would necessarily take this because the external gap, and then you move stop to break even, and then yeah. The only way this would have worked is if you just held. I don't know. I'm not convinced you would want to hold here. I'm trying to figure out if this would be a good trade or not. I think you would take it, but then you get break even. So I just don't. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Even though it was a good sweep with good inversion, I'm not entirely convinced that that's like a trade you would take just because of the external gap. I don't know. I'm curious what other people think. See, that'd be good RR too. Yeah, someone let me know if you think this would have been a good trade. I'm not entirely sure. And then we had this breaker for value gap with the SMT that was, oh my gosh, this was beautiful. This was just beautiful. And I noted this out. I said tape reading this, and I think we got S&T here. And then we swept out this high. Wondering, does it look better like that? Nah, I think it's probably better dotted. I don't know, think about it. Here's your breaker. Very clear and obvious breaker for value gap here. Now, once again, like putting your stop loss above the breaker is kind of cracked because you can get really, really good LRLR. So I think a lot of the time with these higher R breaker for value gap trades, just taking it on a singular account makes a lot of sense. Because then you can assume the risk on a singular account, but you don't have to assume the risk on all your accounts. And then I took this stupid trade on a, I don't even know what this was. I guess I took this on a, what did I even do here? I'm so confused at what I even, at this point, this is why I made the new rule where I have to have a cooldown after a loss, because I just start making up trades. Like, I kid you not. I just made this up. I saw us. Oh, I was like, we inversed this. I think this is where like when I start to lose, I have to give myself a cool. Like if I take a loss, I need a 30-minute cooldown at the very least. Maybe like 45 to an hour. I'm doing 30 minutes minimum, and then like yeah, cause I might be okay after 30, but in the future as I like figure out more about myself, I might need to extend that to 45 or an hour, but yeah, at the minimum 30 for now. That's gonna be the rule. And I just really wanted this LRLR. Like I was obsessed with it. I mean, it's really good, so it makes sense why. I knew it was gonna get ran. So we're gonna write this down. This was trade 56. What was it? Trade 56 or trade 57? Trade 57. And yeah, same thing. We had inversed the 3-minute. So there was that 3-minute inversion. And at this point, we had swept out this high. And we had swept out this high. and we were delivering from the BPR. So, same thing. I was like, well, I really want to see us go hit this LRLR here. And so, I think let's just watch it. Let's just watch it and figure out what happened, because I actually don't even really know. And that's the embarrassing thing about it, is like I know I really wanted the LRLR to get hit, but I don't even know what I entered on. So I'm actually gonna, I know what I entered on. I do, but it's just like, it's just an opportunity to learn from and watch. So we're gonna watch it. Do you have I went. I was so exhausted after that. Okay. Where were we? It was taken right over here. So 8:30. Yeah.
Stop field. Stop.
Yeah. Okay. Let's watch this. Oh, man, this is really good. Dude, it was not good. The main thing I liked about it was the macro and the LRLR. I think that was all. L. Oh. What were the other things I usually write? Oh, this was a singular count. Delivering from a BPR. And with an inversion. So, it's unfortunate. I'm not gonna break my rules. I'm just gonna do this on one account. Man, it's unfortunate, because I'd like to copy trade this one, but okay. 30-second close below this breaker. I'm gonna play enter off of that. Okay. This trade was just really bad. Actually, it wasn't terrible. Actually, if I'm being real, it wasn't super. Let's see. It wasn't. It was bad, but it didn't have to be bad. It could have been refined so that it was a really good win, but I entered in a rushed and frantic, what's it called? Like, I entered in a rushed and forced way that turns it into a pretty bad trade. So, like, we closed below this 30-second breaker. We sweep out these highs, delivering from the BPR. I knew we wanted to go run this LRLR. And I get perfectly stopped out. And then we go hit TP. So this is, I just think, in general, you have to be careful when, I don't know, you're entering on a 30-second breaker and it's just like a really quick inversion. You have to be careful. I'm trying to think of how to word it. Like, I thought this trade was a lot worse than it was. It's still pretty bad. But it's like, you can see it perfectly stopped me out and then hit TP. It was honestly forced after I took the loss. It wasn't A plus. It was just because I wanted the LRLR to get hit really bad. And it's not something I should have taken because, to be honest, it was forced and not A plus. But it did go at TP. So just focus. So that is why I'm adding the three new rules. One, the two new rules. The two new rules. 30-minute cool down after losses minimum, so I don't force bad trades. And then the other new rule that I'm adding because of this is limit to 3 trades on singular accounts max in a session. To discourage taking bad lower probability trades. And as always, only one copy trade per day unless it's break-even. Max in a day. I think those are pretty good rules to have added, honestly. But yeah, I really do think this one was simply just forced, though, and a result of frantically wanting that LLR to get hit and not focused on higher probability setups. Not the way I should have been trading. Okay. Cool. Alright. We got 5 people here now. What's up, guys? So, now I covered most everything. Let's go back to this. Add this in here. This was trade 57, right? Trade 57. Let's go back over there. Boom. So just writing that here. Singular count. Oh. Boom, boom. what was it? 3 to 1, 2 to 1, 2.5 to 1. Yeah, just a forced trade. Honestly, should not have been taken. So, yeah, just gotta be more careful about not forcing trades and making sure the trades are high probability. The 2 new rules I made will help with this. Okay. What time is it? Okay, 20 more minutes of journaling, and then I'll be done journaling for the day. I think there was something else I took after all of this happened. Way later on, after I had a recoup of my mind, I was able to take a pretty good trade. So later on in the afternoon, we had, I knew today was going to be possibly London reversal, New York continuation. And I saw we had the session distribution level up here. Now, if you mark it out in the 15-minute, you can see that we actually did go run up and hit it. And that's something that threw off my TP actually a bit, which was kind of annoying. And I'm going to be more careful how I mark it next time. Session D+. But we went up, hit that session distribution level, and essentially what I did was we had a breaker and a fair value gap, and we swept out this low here. So we sweep out both these lows. I think this was pretty good. Sweep out this low, sweep out this low. We get a breaker. So these series of up close candles, you can also just mark it out as the highest up close candle. And then you can see this fair value gap overlapping with it right here. You can see the precision on this is absurd. Now I actually just simply entered on the test of this fair value. I think it was the test of this breaker here. I had my stop loss, so I entered before the fair value gap, and I put my stop loss below the breaker, and I simply just targeted 2 to 1 up to the session distribution level. And this one was a good trade. I like this one. It was in line with the higher time frame. It was in line with the whatever. You get what I'm saying. Then later on in the day, I ended up taking a 2-2-1 W. Trade 58. Simply it was in line with the higher time frame. I was anticipating us to distribute up to the session distribution level. Now we hit it on the now I marked it out on the 1 minute chart, and it was at a different level than if I were to mark it out on the 15-minute chart. This threw me off, but if I were to take profit where I should have, then let's see. It was in line with the London reversal near continuation profile. Singular account 221. It was in line with the higher time frame as this being distributed to the decision. I think my main thing I lack is patience, if I'm being honest. Just not taking bad setups. And I think I can turn profitable. I think that's the main issue. It's just easier said than done. Okay, back to the other screen. Singular count. Whoops. %200%. And this was a 2-to-1. Yeah. Pretty cool. Okay. I think that about covers it. Just sitting at 12-10 right now. Stupid. I took so many losses. So stupid. Gotta be better than that. Gotta be more patient. That's okay. That's okay. We'll just keep getting better and keep learning every day. So with that, I think I'm gonna call it here. Unless you guys want to cover anything else that happened today. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. I think today was just lower probability because we had already hit previous week's high. That was the main issue. Alright. All in all, today summed up. It was just a harder. Let's see. I should have been a lot more careful and thoughtful. Let's go. FA, dude, let's go. We're all on this journey together. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Today summed up, I should have been a lot more careful and thoughtful since we had already hit previous week's high. That was the main draw on liquidity, so it was hard to frame a higher time frame model. Without this higher time frame conviction, I should have been more careful, taken a lot less trades, and been more patient, simply focusing on preventing losses. With that, I am going to end the stream here. I will see you guys tomorrow.